The next thing that we'll study is the array of structures. So let's say in a class there are multiple students, around 90 or 100. Let's take up 100 students are there in your class. And if I want to store the information of those 100 students, then it is practically impossible to create 100 instances of one structure. Okay. So in place of that, what I can do is I can make use of the arrays. Okay. So if you observe here, I have created a structure with the members, roll number, name, and some fees. Okay. And I have given this structure a name called as student. Okay. And now with the help of the student, I can create an array of the instances. So let's give it a name S, and I can create, let's say, an array of 100 instances. Each instance will have the template which is defined over here. Okay. Now let's see how to store the data into it. Of course, okay, before that, we'll first see how the records will look like. Since this is an array, so in the memory, let's say if this is the memory, firstly the memory required for storing this structure definition, let's say in this case it is around 18 bytes. Okay, so each instance will carry or will consume 18 bytes inside the memory. Okay, so if you just create some partitions, okay, so the first block will be dedicated for S0. That means the first student. Okay, array, if you start indices from 0, then the first student will occupy 18 bytes of block. The next student will occupy the next contiguous block of 18 bytes, and similarly S2, S3, and so on, 100 records. Okay. Now each instance or each student will have these characteristics or these members. Okay, so let's say the first student, for the first student, some roll number will be there, some name will be there, this will be an array or the string, then some fees will be there. Okay, similarly the next student will also have his roll number, some name, some fees, and the similar will follow. Okay. Now if I want to, let's say, refer the data of the first student, so I can write it like S0, that means the first student, then dot, then if I write roll number, that means the roll number of the first student. Okay. Then I can write S0 dot name, this means the name of the first student, and similarly the other members. Okay, and you can treat this thing just like some simple variable, okay, like we always do. And if you want to store some data with the help of scanf and printf, then what will be the thing that we'll have to do is using loops. Okay, of course. So let's see how to use a loop to store the values into all the records. So I will require a loop. Okay, but before writing a loop, how to define the limit of the number of records that will be there is you can use hash define, okay, size. Let's say the size is 10 over here, and inside this you can write S and then size. So whatever is the size defined as, those many records will be created. And to use a loop, let's say if I use a for loop starting from I will go until size and then I plus plus. Okay. So the first thing that I need to scan is the roll number. Okay. So I will write scanf %d, and I will store it at s of I, because the loop index is I over here, dot roll number. Okay. Similarly, if the name is considered as a string, then I can do get s of I dot name. Then for the next thing I can do scanf %d, and I will store it at s of I dot fees. Okay. So since I is varying from 0 to size, so for every value of I starting from 0, whatever the data is entered by the user will go at its particular place. Okay. So let's see how it is done. So let's say this is our array of records. The first one is S0, the next is S1, the next is S2, and so on for the 10 records. Okay. Every record will have roll number, name, some fees. Similarly here some roll number, some name, some fees, and so on. Okay. So for I equal to 0, that means the record of the first student, whatever the integer is entered, that will go over here. So let's say 100 goes over here. Whatever the name is entered here will go here. Whatever the fees is entered will go here. Then at the next iteration of I equal to 1, this will be S of 1. So now I will enter the record of the next student. Okay. Then for I equal to 2, again I will record the data of the third student, and so on will go until the size. So that is how I will take the user input and scan it by using a for loop. Okay. If you want to print the data of every student, then what you can do is take the similar for loop, and in place of scanf, what you can do is just printf. Okay. And at the end you can add one line printf/n, so that every record is printed on the next line. So consider that this is the structure definition, and I have created some instances of the size, let's say some 10, which I have defined with hash define size 10. Okay. So now let's create a situation where I have some multiple records. Let's say 10 records are created. Okay. So let's say this is S0, S1, S2, S3, and S4, and so on. And each record or each instance will have the structure of type student tag. Okay. So I may have some roll number, name, course, fees. Similarly here roll number, name, course, fees, roll number, name, course, fees, and similarly here. So let's say I have entered the data by using a for loop and all the scanf which you are quite aware of now, and I have entered the data in the random fashion. Okay. So let's say some student came for the admission and some roll number was awarded to him and his data was entered, and similarly let's say 100 records I have created and the roll numbers that I entered was in the random fashion. But now I want all the records to be sorted roll number wise. Okay. That means the S0 instance should have the record of roll number 1, S1 should have the record of roll number 2, S2 should have the record of roll number 3, and so on. Okay. Now if I have to sort the complete records, you can use any sorting algorithm, bubble sort or any other sort. So let's assume that I use bubble sort. Okay. So in the bubble sort, if you observe, first we compare, let's say with the roll number. Okay. So I may write some logic and compare the roll numbers. And if the roll numbers are found to be in the decreasing fashion, then I just swap the record. Okay. Now while swapping, you may assume that just swapping the roll numbers are enough. Okay. But if you just swap the roll numbers, let's say this is roll number 20 and this is roll number 15. Okay. So let's say two records are there. The roll number for first record is 20 and the roll number for second record is 15. And let's say I want to swap these two records. Okay. So you may be fooled by thinking that just swapping the roll numbers are enough. Okay. So if you just swap the roll numbers, let's say this becomes 15 and this becomes, let's say, 20. Okay. But the rest of the members, okay, which is name, course and fee, remains the same. Okay. So in such cases, some inconsistency may occur. Okay. That means even if the roll numbers were swapped, the name, course, field still exists according to the old record. Okay. So in such situations where you have to swap the record, you don't have to just swap those particular elements, but you have to swap the complete record by just taking some, let's say, third variable, or let's say if I want to sort two records, so better we take it to the compiler and see how to exactly work out on this.
So this is the program for sorting of the records. So let's see from the starting. Some size is mentioned as 5. Okay. Then I have created a structure and given it a name student tag. Under the student tag, some information of student is stored. Okay. Inside the main with the type student tag, what I have done is I have created instances with a name s and one as some temp. Okay. So this temp will be necessary for the swapping of the records. Okay. So with the for loop, as you can see, I have scanned all the records. So typically I have taken some 5 records over here. And then I try to print them before I sort them so that it is clearly visible as the jumbled records. Okay. After that, what I have done is I have tried to sort those records, and after the sorting is done, I have again printed it just to show that all the records are sorted and the records are consistent into the information. Let me put a next line over here. So I believe that this scanning is quite clear to you. We'll focus on the sorting part. Okay. So this sorting will be, is done by the bubble sort, and here, as you can see, we have taken two loops, and now I will write the condition upon which the swapping needs to be done. So if I write if, and inside the if, let's say I write s of j dot rno, which is the roll number, if it is greater than the roll number of the j plus 1th record, then I am supposed to swap it. Okay. Now you may be fooled to believe here that just swapping the roll numbers will do the job. Okay, but that is not the reality. If you just swap the roll numbers and the rest of the information still remains there, so what it will result into is the inconsistent records. That means under someone's roll number, some another record will be there, someone's other name will be there, and in place of some another roll number, someone else name would be there. Okay, so while swapping the records, you need to make sure that you are swapping the complete record like this. So temp equal to, I will write s of j, then I will write s of j equal to s of j plus 1, and then I will write s of j plus 1 would be temp. Remember that this temp is of the type student tag. Okay, it is not any integer or float, it is of the type student tag. Now it may happen that here, instead of swapping the complete records, what you may swap is something like this. Okay. So if you write something like this, that temp equal to sj.rno, sj.rno equal to sj plus 1 dot rno. So if you do something like this, what will happen is only the roll numbers will be swapped among the records. Okay. So under someone's roll number, someone else's name would be there. Okay. So please be aware of this thing. While swapping the complete records, you will just swap the sj. Okay. Sj is basically the record of some student. Okay. And that you are swapping with sj plus 1, depending upon if the sj's roll number is found to be greater than the sj plus 1th roll number. Okay, so here I have done the sorting part, and once the sorting is done, I can again try to print my records. Okay,